Hey guys, it is now the end of November. NaNoWriMo is almost over, even though I definitely stopped already. And it's almost December, which means this year's almost over, and the new year's coming, which that means a whole lot of planning and new goals are coming up. So this was the perfect time to really think of doing an overwhelmed tag. So a very quick intro. My name is Hala. I am an author and illustrator. I did graphic novels and sort of like a manga style for 8 years. And I kind of then went back to writing novels. And my first novel is coming out on January 11th in 2022. So just over a month away, a month and a couple weeks. And that will be Tower of Dogs. And I'm super excited for that. But there's other things going on that is making me overwhelmed in certain ways and then numb in other ways. So we're going to talk about those. So I was tagged by Qwerty, aka Stephanie Gillis, or Q, or however you know her if you know her. And she was tagged, or she found the tag through Kathy. I'm not sure who originally did it, but I will put the questions up here so you guys can do it too if you want, because I don't know enough people to tag. Your free tag. So the first question is, are you feeling overwhelmed? And if so, why are you feeling overwhelmed? And yes and no. So I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish within the next month, essentially. And then even more things going into the next year. Several of those things are pretty close. And I think I've reached the point of being overwhelmed where I'm just like, I have that numb feeling where it's too much energy that I can't feel it anymore, which is not always a good thing because that means I end up procrastinating and then I get super overwhelmed at the end of it. So just to name a few, I do have, like I said, I have my book coming out on January 11th. The edits are done. I have my Amazon proof. I'm waiting on my proofs from Barnes & Noble. And the only reason I really feel any stress from that still is just on the off chance that when I hit publish and they're like, you need to fix something, that I have to fix something, which I shouldn't, because I think I figured out all the tricks to that over the past couple of weeks. But that's still something in the back of my mind, and I know a lot of people, like I know in person, and some people on the internet are looking forward to it, and I have some pre-orders already. So there's kind of that like building anxiety of like, I don't want to disappoint anybody. So I kind of just want it to be released and people read it and they enjoy it and be done, aka get to the second book, which I am halfway through. I did want to finish the first draft by the end of this year, but knowing how I can work on like things 2 weeks at a time, I only did half of Nano, but I did get 32K added onto my second book. So we're sitting at 70 of the anticipated 100 to 120. So I do want to write some more before the end of the year, but I'm working on reprinting my graphic novels because my old printing company was a fiasco and I just had to get away from them. So it was kind of reformatting everything for the new printing has been a chore. And I also have a licensing test for my job coming up on the 7th of December. I should be ready. I might be ready, but I don't want to feel ready and then not be ready. Let's move on to the next question because I feel like things are gonna probably touch on each other. I haven't even looked at them since I saw the tag. So tell us about the TBR that is lurking over your shoulder. Well, actually, my TBR for this year, I finished. So I am feeling pretty good about that. Now I can kind of pick up books here and there that I want to read. There are a few books on my shelves that I have been gifted that I've started, but I haven't quite been in the reading mood. So I don't necessarily know if I'll put them on a TBR for next year or if I'll avoid a TBR altogether so I can get things done. So I guess there's no good answer for number 2 because I don't have a TBR right now. How is video making / bookternet posting shaping your reading experience? It's happened a lot more this past year because I've been trying to get more involved. The biggest change that I've noticed is, or not necessarily change, but I guess experience, is that I'm actively looking for more indie books to read and review / promote on my channel, to kind of like build connections within the community, but also like I learn a lot from seeing how other people do things, even if, you know, whether I like them or not, I'm still learning, and I think other people might learn too. So adding that to my video possibilities has been really nice. Otherwise, like I don't follow the trends. I have no idea what like the new releases are, unless it's in a series like this one over here, the Twisted Tales that I'm reading. Like, I don't know what's coming out. I watch things here and there, but I'm definitely in a creative mindset more often than a consumer mindset. Number 4, what do you think you can do differently so you aren't as overwhelmed? I would say finishing projects, which is true because, you know, when I finished the animation at the beginning of the year, that was a huge weight off my shoulders. When I finished book 1 officially, and it was at beta readers and all like that post-editing or semi-editing stage, that was great. So finishing things definitely makes me feel less overwhelmed, but it's usually that moment right before I finish something that I'm really, really overwhelmed. Unfortunately, I don't have like a finite list of things to do. I showed this on the live stream last night, but that's my current project cube. It's only really a cube because I had a square piece of paper. But this is things that are getting finished this year, which branches out into novels for next year, and then finishing up getting my graphic novels reprinted, which with my main series, Kuro Kenshin, I might be doing more than just flipping the pages and sizing them. So there might be a little bit more drawing that goes into that. But, you know, aside from just the novels in the trilogy, I've got companion novels and then the prequel novels and then a project for my mom and my own little like kid story. And that's just the things that I have occupying my brain right now. So I should not be allowed to think, but I'm always going to have things on my plate. So, oh, and I think I kind of do my goals in a very flexible way. With this past year, my annual goals, like my yearly goals for 2021, I actually chose really like basic light goals. They were still bigger, but it was 24 books on the TBR, which is doable, like 2 books a month. Finishing the animation and launching my Patreon, which were both happening early in the year, like January for Patreon, and then I think I finished the animation in March. So I got those done in the first quarter, and then it wasn't like published my first book, it was finish the manuscript. So all I had to do was finish draft 1. But once I did, then I kind of had a publishing schedule in view, so I just kept going. Keeping that in mind, but also looking at the bigger picture this coming year, I want to have my tier 1 easy goals, and then like if this is accomplished, we go to tier 2 and tier 3, etc., etc. So I'm still pursuing goals, but I'm still feeling accomplished. That's a big thing, feeling accomplished. Number 5, do you have any projects you really want to do, but something is holding you back? With my writing, I don't really feel held back because it's just the time that I can put into it and sort of that concentration on the story. With my graphic novels, those take a lot more time in general. So like a page for the graphic novel could take 3 hours from a blank sheet to the finished product. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I could write a lot more story in that time. So that's why I've kind of gravitated back to writing novels. However, like with Kuro Kenshin, I want to, right now I'm kind of tweaking the line art from the original and seeing if I like that for when I reprint it. If I am crazy and somehow feel supported enough to do it, like with people who want to see it, I might redraw this or the first book. 'Cause I think the second book, the quality is it's close to my finished quality, but it's way better than for book 1 for sure. And the reason I want to do that is because I don't want people coming into the story and starting and seeing the more early art of mine, which isn't as polished, and I don't want that to influence their choice whether they want to read the story or not. So I may consider redrawing the first book, but I also want to extend the ending, and that could be a chapter or it could be a whole nother book. So I guess the biggest thing with holding me back is not just the time that it would take, but I've been out of touch with that community. I don't necessarily have a following right now to like be like, yay, can't wait for the next page. So I'm gonna kind of look into rebuilding that, just because I want to have my other stuff back out there and just available. But I think doing a little bit more graphic stuff, like the graphic novels, even I want to do an animated trailer, but that's a time thing for sure, and skill thing. But I got a new baby that I have to try out here. I got a new tablet to see them. Number 6, is there a book or genre that brings you joy or takes you to a satisfying place? Pretty much fantasy, but really I want a full-on new world with different things. That is like my happy place, because I'm not just following the storyline, which the story had better still be good, but also just like all these like, ooh, they came up with that, like that's so cool, like that's exciting for me. So fantasy. Number 7, how much does FOMO, which is fear of missing out, play into feeling overwhelmed? Really, it only affects me when my puppy has FOMO and they have to get up all in my space while I'm trying to work. Like I said, I don't really follow trends. I don't know what's going on unless someone tells me directly, so I have a few people who keep me informed. And I've always been doing my own things, like since high school, even since before high school, I guess, probably. Because I was already drawing and writing stuff on my own, and I was doing my own thing. So I kind of prioritized that. Not sure if that kind of answers the question, but puppy FOMO was a real thing. Dealing with that a lot. Number 8. Is there anything you do specifically because of Booktube, Bookturnet that you'd likely drop without it? Book reviews. I mean, I've done, like, I enjoy the indie ones because I try to be constructive and promote those books as well. But when I read a book, I don't necessarily feel the need to review it, even though I know that helps authors and helps other people understand what the book is about. I'm not really a great reviewer. At least I find other reviewers more entertaining and more informative, so I'm learning to be a better one. But if I wasn't doing like the indie spotlights and the Disney book reviews, I don't think I would be reviewing anything. That's mostly it. All right, and then number 9 is to tag friends, but I don't have other friends who aren't already tagged in this who do this thing, so tag yourself. And, if you're overwhelmed and you have a bunch of projects, or let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. As I mentioned with the indie spotlight, if you have written an independent published book, or you self-published your own book, or you know someone's, or like you just want me to read one and kind of give my own take on it, let me know that. You can comment or you can message me on Instagram. But this was my overwhelmed tag.